Friends, what you are today is because of whatever you have watched, whatever you have heard, and whatever you have spoken as a result of all three, what you have felt till yesterday. So, what you did till yesterday creates today or created yours today, and whatever you are doing today will create your tomorrow. So, as the famous phrases go, what you sow is what you reap, and what goes around comes around. So, if you want to change your future, the easiest and the simplest way is changing what you do throughout your day, which essentially, as I said, includes three things: what you watch, that is what you see, what you observe, etc., what you listen or hear, and what you speak. So, let me explain all three one by one. What is that we do most of the time today, especially when we are free? We watch. The moment we go home, we switch on the TV. And most of the time, we watch either programs like Big Boss or all those nonsense where people are fighting among each other, a lot of rumor mongering going against each other, or especially men, right, hook on to TV news channels. And what is there in news most of the time? Poisonous, toxic debates where one side abuses the other side. And most of the news is politics, which is all toxic today. So this is what we watch most of the time. Think for a moment, take a break and think, how will you feel when you watch those kind of programs all the day, most of the time during the day? Without your knowledge, you would have become a hate monger, or you would have chosen one side against the other side. So as a consequence, what happens? We get into the game. We start abusing each other on social media without even knowing who is the other person whom you are abusing. And then what happens? The other person abuses you, and then it goes on and on and on. Now think, what are we doing? Now let's come to the second part: listening, hearing. When you go on traffic, most of the time it is honk, people abusing each other for driving, wrong lanes, etc. So even in corporates or even within family discussions, it is most of the time gossiping or rumor mongering, abusing each other. So the so-called, even in corporates, the corporate politics where one person try to snub the other person. So this is what we talk, this is what we listen here most of the time. And coming to the third part, which is talking. See, when we talk about talking, it has two parts. One is when you talk to others, right? It can be one-to-one, it can be a group of people. That is different. But when you talk to yourself, what we call as inner chatter. Now, inner chatter is extremely important. Most of the time when we are alone, even when we are sleeping, a lot of things goes on in our mind. Now, this is very important. If by default or by choice, whatever may be the reason, if you're always dwelling on negative things, negative past, or expecting your future will also be bad. So if you are into that kind of self-pity mode where you are always blaming yourself when you are alone during your inner chatter, then your future is definitely going to be bad. So as a consequence of all the three, what we see, what we hear or listen, and what we talk. So when we do all these three or any one of these, we feel, right? The body generates emotions. And sometimes it is so strong, the emotions are so strong, literally every hair, every cell of the body can feel it. Now take an example. If you are always watching crime, okay, so there are many channels where there is crime stories shown, especially during night times. Some channels, so it comes all the time. And now OTT also is flooded with these kind of extreme violent and extreme sexual content where blood flows like water. Now again, if you are somebody who is seeing this all the time, so what kind of a person you will become? Have you ever thought about it? See, understand how it works. Our thoughts are like signals, like mobile signals, electrical signal, which goes out and then it connects with the universe. But it's our emotions, what we feel, which is responsible for what we attract into our life. If by watching, by listening, by talking, these kind of toxic things, toxic content most of the time, if we are always feeling negative, if our emotions are mostly negative, so what happens? We always attract more negative into our life. Remember this, what you see, basically, accordingly or correspondingly, you generate thoughts. So what you think, basically, you become that, right? So what you think is what you become. And what are the things which are responsible for your thinking? It is all the three what I just said. What you see, what you hear, what you speak, what you do, etc. And correspondingly, we feel. What we feel is what we attract towards us. If you are always feeling negative, if in your mind you are always feeling nothing good is going to happen in my life is ruined, by birth I'm a very unlucky person, my future is gone, or the world is bad, people are all bad, in India nothing can happen. We see, especially this young generation, most of the time they are in this self-cursing mode. They hate everything, they hate everybody, they blame everyone. So as a consequence, if you see, they are always in the negative cycle of emotions. So whatever you are emotionally as a person, you attract similar people and situations into your life. Remember this. If your emotions are negative, you will attract more negative people and negative things into your life. And as I said, the third part, inner charter, is extremely important. Stop cursing yourself, stop blaming yourself. By cursing and blaming yourself, nothing good is going to happen to you. So be very careful of what you watch, what you hear, or what you read, what you do, what kind of activities you indulge, what kind of people and situations you get into or meet, because this is what essentially becomes your subconscious makeup. For example, if you want to prepare a simple upma, you need certain ingredients, right? You take rava, you fry, you add oil and then water and then etc. And then it becomes. Similarly, your life result, outcome, future is responsible, right? You are responsible, right? For that, there are certain ingredients. The first ingredient is your thoughts. They are the seeds. Like a farmer chooses the seeds very carefully. A weak seed means a weak plant, weak crop. So the seeds are very important. So your thoughts, the human thoughts, are like the seeds. A weak thought, a bad thought is like a bad seed waiting for your bad future. So when you think, be careful of what you think. So consciously choose your thoughts. Avoid thinking negative. So for that to happen, you have to, as I said, change what you watch, what you read, do, talk, etc. So your seeds, the thoughts are very important. And as I said, once that happens, the corresponding emotions are very important. So when we talk about emotions, I generally give the example of LPG. What is LPG stands for? Love, peace, and gratitude. Always try to be in these kind of emotional states. It all starts with self-love. Love yourself. You are a beautiful human being. And then also spread love as much as possible. Try to love people. and everything around you, including non-living things. When you do this, people also start spreading love to you. You attract more love, or more, people who kind of spread love, or situations who is more loving. Peace stands for peace. It is very important that we are always at peace most of the time. If not all the time, at least most of the time, at least sometime. The state of mind is very important. Like a settled water, right, is very important for you to see your image, your face. Similarly, when your mind is peaceful, you can see everything very clearly. There will be a lot of clarity. But when you watch bad content, talk to bad people, your heart and mind is filled with toxic content. You will be always more abusive, more disdained, more, always trying to take sides. So try to find peace. The third aspect and the most important aspect is G for gratitude. See, we don't realize how lucky we are as human beings, especially if you are somebody who is in India at present. You should consider yourself to be extremely lucky. When the entire world is undergoing so much of turmoil, so many wars, so many other issues, we are in India, fastest growing economy, under a stable leadership. Many good things are happening. Forget all those things. You are a human being. That itself is good enough reason for you to be happy. After millions and millions of births, people say, we get this human life. At least express gratitude, be happy, because you are a human being. You are the only creature in this universe who is capable of thinking, capable of evolving, capable of connecting with divine. If you are watching this video, means you are lucky, because you have a smartphone, you have internet connection, you have YouTube, subscription, etc. That means at least you are getting 3 meals a day. So start learning, start to or learn to express gratitude for the things you have. When you say thank you for the things you have, you will be given more things to thank for. So remember, and always ask at least once in a day, do this self test, LPG. How are you feeling? Are the feelings include LPGs, love, peace, and gratitude? If not, then there is a problem. So, as I said, in the marketing terms, there is a phrase, garbage in, garbage out. If your mind is filled with garbage, your output, that is your future, will always be garbage, which is all negative. Now, let's talk about three different age groups. Let's start with children. As young as 1 year onwards, what are they basically watching today? And what is the method, the instrument? It's a smartphone. Kids as small as 1 year, 2 years, carrying smartphones which are bigger than them, and they are hooked onto it. Imagine that future. As parents, the worst thing you can do for the future of your children is giving them smartphone. If you don't believe, just Google right now the side effects of smartphone on children. They will be so much involved in their virtual world, they will forget the real world. They don't want anybody, including parents, siblings. They have forgotten to go out and play physically. Everything happens inside this virtual world called the mobile phone. And they become so restless. You just try to pull the mobile from the hand of a child, and as a parent, you know how they react. It is almost impossible to do it today. That is a level of addiction. And once in a while, we'll be reading, and watching on TV that how even kids have committed suicide when parents try to snatch the mobile phone away. So the first thing you can do as a parent is avoid giving mobile phones, smartphones to your children. because everything happens in that. That's the biggest problem. Let's talk about the other extreme age group, 60 plus, 70 plus. Now, this is a beautiful opportunity for people of this age group. Once you are done away with all the responsibilities of your life, you need not to earn anymore, you need not to work anymore, you have a lot of free time. Now, this is a time you need to spend connecting with the divine, traveling inside, indulging in activities like meditation, prayers, traveling to places of pilgrimages, and then they can spread that beautiful knowledge among the younger generation. So this age group people ideally should indulge in these kind of activities, and it is a part of our Indian history, right? So this stage, so-called Vanaprastha, even the great kings earlier, they used to abdicate, leave everything, and then go to forest, spend last stage of their life in the forest, and then they used to leave the body there. And it is told, it is proved that the last phase of this life is the beginning of the next life. And what are they doing today at this age? Most watching nonsense serials where parents are fighting against children, children are throwing the parents out, extramarital affairs, fighting like cats and dogs. And these people get so much involved in these serials with experience, personal experience of watching my parents and other relatives. I'm telling you, they literally become a part of the serial. They can't even dissociate from what is happening, on the screen. For example, if a son throws the parents out of home, they actually feel, yes, my son is going to do it. This is a kind of emotional turmoil these serials make these seniors go through. So think about this. What are we doing? What are we watching? What kind of activities we are indulging? So you can't expect a beautiful flowery, plant from the seed of a thorny, plant, right? So what you sow is what you reap. If you want an apple tree, you have to ensure that the seeds are from apple. You want a good future tomorrow, you have to ensure that you indulge in good activities today. If you want to be happy, then do all those things which gives happiness, not the opposite. So hope this video makes some sense, right? Because whenever I also feels a lot of negative energy because of the kind of profession I am in, I just take a half a day, one day break, do 2-3 hours of meditation, try to disconnect from watching a lot of news and indulgence on social media, etc., and I feel better. So it is impossible to disconnect from the social media or watching TV, etc. That's fine, but at least reduce and spend more time on things like meditation, playing physical sports, reading good motivational books. So instead of always hooking on to toxic content, because what you do, that is in a combination of what you watch, what you read, what kind of language you spoke, what happens in your mind, the inner chatter all the time, that basically becomes your future. So if you want to change future, change what you do throughout the day today. So hope this video was of some use to you. So all the best. Have an abundant life.